What's up guys, Peter here from Reviews on Anything. And as you might know from earlier videos, in my daily life I am a personal trainer. Now I like to use a lot of boxing inspired exercises in my sessions because it's a lot of fun and it's a good workout for most people. And with boxing usually comes something like this. It's a pretty traditional hand boxing pad. You slide your hand in like so and form a target for whoever you're sparring with. And it works really well. It's pretty much the default choice. You can get them in a few different shapes and sizes, I suppose, but this is pretty much what it is. Now, I don't really like these kind of pads because there's a lot of, especially when you're training with a stronger or bigger person, there's a lot of impact sort of on the shoulder for me as the person that they're sparring with, which can get really uncomfortable, especially at the back of your shoulder if you do multiple sessions a day with stronger or bigger people. So I started looking into alternatives and I came across these. They're from a company called Bad Company and they're pretty much the same thing. They're boxing pads, but as you can see, they have a handle, a little bit like a tennis racket kind of idea. So instead of having the impact sort of on your arm and on your shoulder, you get the impact more on your wrist, which is obviously a much more supple place that is used to moving around more, and therefore a bit more convenient. Now they weigh about just under 500 grams, so it's not far off from what these weigh. And you can see that the top part is pretty much exactly the same. There's a little dot here in the middle that you can aim for. I suppose it's just a design kind of thing. But you know, it's effectively the same thing. But because this has your hand in it, you get the impact on the shoulder, and this because it has the sort of neck, I suppose you can call it, you get the impact on your wrist. Now it has a little loop here that goes around your wrist, you know, to make sure you don't drop it. And that's really all there is to see. It's all leather, just like the normal pad. And the interesting part is that it actually consists of, you can open it up, hope you can see that properly on camera, but it consists of two parts. So that further dampens the impact for me as the trainer a little bit, which is a nice touch. Now the weird part is, as you can see, they both have the dot on the same side. So you would think that you buy one like this and one like this. But that's not the case. You can actually get it in black too, by the way. So that's an oddity. But the quality is pretty good. There's nice stitching here on the back going on. Feels good, smells good in all the right places. And it's about the same price as one of those handheld pads. Obviously it depends a bit on which brand you go for and how fancy you want to be. But these are under 30 euros here in Germany, so it's not too bad. You buy them with singles, by the way. So you don't buy a package with two in it, which probably would make more sense to me. But you know, that's how it is. So you have to buy two of these, 2 times just under 30 euro. Now, the biggest difference between these two, besides the fact that you hold this sort of lower and that the impact goes on your wrist, is the distance that you have to take with the person you're sparring with. You can imagine that when you're holding it like this, you can be really up close with somebody, really close quarter combat, so to speak, which could work really well. With these, because you have the additional reach here on the bottom, you have to hold a bit more distance. I found that if you use it at the same distance as the handheld pads, you don't really get to use the extra length of the pad properly, and you sort of get in your own way and you can't really push back properly. But if you take an extra step back and you sort of reach out like so, you can do much more with this pad, and it's much more movable, and obviously there's a much wider area you can cover because the actual device is longer than the handheld pad. And I found that actually it took me 2 or 3 sessions with people to sort of get to grips with the distance that I had to take to people. And you actually have to, me as a trainer, I had to instruct people to stay put as well and not constantly come towards me, because obviously the people that I train were used to being closer to me as well with the handheld pads. But once that was figured out, all was well. And I have to say, it works really well. There's less impact on my shoulder, there's a bit more impact, you know, on the lower arm and the wrist, but you know, nothing you can't handle. And especially when you move into the movement a little bit, it works really well and the impact is quite minimal. Now these are not only for punching, they are also very suitable for kicking, and that's where the dual layer probably comes in. And because you have more length to work with, you can actually reach out much better and sort of provide people with a more challenging place to kick. Obviously, you know, it's not an actual kicking pillow, so you know, for low kicks and so on, it doesn't really do the same job. It's not aimed to do the same job either. But for sparring sessions where you're just, you know, trying to aim for something, trying to make the kick just as the movement, works really well. I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, these are the red and the yellow one. It also comes in black. It's pretty good looking. Bad Company, you know the name, we can debate about. But it makes good products, and this is a pretty decent example of what they make. And I like them a lot. You would say, as a final note, that it's quite vulnerable here, because obviously a lot of the impact happens right there. And this could be the twisting point, since you hold it here and you hit here, so this is a potential fracture point. But so far I've had these for a few months, no issues whatsoever. You know, especially, I'm not training professional fighters or anything, so you know, they're not going to break it that easily. But so far no problem whatsoever in terms of build quality, and I think you know, it's a good looking, nice alternative to the hand pads, especially when you want to involve a few kicks into your exercises. And I think it works really well. This was Peter from Reviews or Anything with a look at the Bad Company boxing pads with additional grip. Hope you guys liked the video. Let me know what you use for sparring in the comments below, and hope you subscribe to the channel. Cheers!